Coming up, a lawsuit against a Phi Gamma Delta member has been dropped. And later, a Trump-Biden election may be ahead following the New Hampshire primary.
We will chase winning.
And a first look at Beth Getz as Iowa's full-time AD.
More freezing rain and snow can make for slick conditions. More in weather ahead.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News.
Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in live to DITV and KRUI 89.7 FM.
I'm Michael Merrick.
And I'm Johnny Valtman. A lawsuit has been dropped against a former Phi Gamma Delta or Fiji fraternity member. UI student McKenna Solberg filed a lawsuit in 2020 against Brock Hawkins, claiming he spread video or photographs of her being sexually assaulted at a Fiji fraternity party in September 2022. This is footage from protests against the fraternity on campus from September 2021, Monday. The lawsuit was dismissed. The filing gave no reasoning for the dismissal. A court case is still planned for the two former Fiji members who are accused of the assault. That case will stand trial on November 5th. The Iowa City Community School District has officially closed school today due to severe weather conditions. The school district originally had a late start plan in order, but when more snow on the way, icy road conditions, and cold temperatures, the district decided that traveling to the school is not worth the risk and students should stay home. And Michael, talking about those conditions, it seems like winter, even though it let up a little bit, it's still in full effect here in Iowa.
Yeah, Johnny, I mean, even in the walk to the studio, you had to be careful. You know, almost fell a few times, but luckily, got the reflexes like a cat.
And Michael, felt like I was out on an ice skating rink. And we're going to send it over to DITV's Claire Green, who has an update on how the temps are going to look the next couple of days.
Thanks, Johnny. The winter weather is still with us and can make it tricky getting around for the next couple of days. Yesterday we saw some freezing rain, and today and tomorrow look to be no different. We should expect some more freezing rain and possible snow, but the temps will stay in the mid-30s. Today we'll see a high of 36 and a consistent low of 34. Tomorrow we'll see a similar 37 degrees. I'll have more on the week ahead in a little bit. Until then, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Claire. And with that possible snow and ice, Iowa City is telling people to make sure their cars are not stuck in the street. DITV's Matt Terrapin is live outside now with more details.
Yeah, Johnny, if you use the street for parking, you should be ready to move your cars to make room for the plows after the storm. The city has stated that it will tow all cars in the way of the plows, and the towing and the plowing will begin at 7 a.m. on Thursday and Friday. If you're trying to figure out if you're on one of the designated streets for the plowing, you can either go to the Iowa City governmental website or look for signs that say due to maintenance, no parking. If you are unfortunately one of the cars that do get towed, you can call the Iowa City Parking Division line and hopefully get it figured out from there. Back to you, Johnny.
Thanks, Matt. An Iowa City resident was sentenced to federal prison for possessing a firearm. According to witnesses, 43-year-old Sanchez Watson pulled out a handgun at the Villa Garden Apartments in Iowa City. Sanchez left the scene driving recklessly through traffic to avoid Iowa City police. Police later found the gun along with a bag of marijuana. Watson was charged with possession of ammunition. He will serve 10 years with no parole. And a new candidate has joined the race for Johnson County Board of Supervisors. Bob Conrad announced his campaign on Monday. Conrad has been a Johnson County resident for over 20 years and has had experience on the county's Planning and Zoning Board and the Rural Housing Trust Fund Board. His priorities include affordable housing, public services, and safety, transportation, and being a leader who listens. Conrad is the third person to announce their candidacy, following current county chair Rod Sullivan, as well as Mandy Remington, who lost her bid back in November. New Hampshire held its first in the nation primary last night. We have DITV reporter Brady Barron in the newsroom with the results.
The New Hampshire primary didn't exactly bring with it any new surprises, as Donald Trump got his second straight victory after taking home the win in Iowa last Monday. With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis dropping out of the race on Sunday, it opened up a clear path to second place for former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley. Compared to the Iowa caucuses, Haley somewhat narrowed the gap between her and Trump, only behind him by 11% of the vote. Despite future poll numbers projecting Trump as the winner in the next states, Haley made it clear last night that she isn't giving up just yet.
New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation.
The next stop on the campaign trail for the Republicans is in Nevada on February 8th. But for now, back to you in the studio, Johnny.
Thanks, Brady. You know, a trip down to Nevada sounds much warmer than our situation here in Iowa. However, the temps here seem to be getting just a little bit better. We'll send it back out to Claire, who has the forecast for this weekend and a little into next week.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. We will finally see a break from this winter weather come later this week. Once we get to the weekend, the snow and freezing rain is expected to stop. The sun also looks like it will come out on Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. Temperatures will stay in the mid-30s during the day and drop below 30 on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at night. The beginning of the third week of classes looks like it'll be easier to get around. Back to you, Johnny.
Last Monday was MLK Day. The university hosted events in his honor for this past week. However, many of them were canceled due to the extreme weather.
You know, it was unfortunate, and if my calendar allowed, I would have attended some of them, I'm sure. I think it would have been interesting to get those perspectives.
Still, there were two lectures presented. Washington Post columnist Michelle Norris was able to come in yesterday to close out the celebrations with her MLK Distinguished Lecture that welcomed many students and community members. Through this, she was able to share her message and thoughts behind her new book, Our Hidden Conversations. This relates to her initiative, the Race Card Project, which allows individuals to discuss their differences. The Iowa City robotics team took part in a program called Go Baby Go, which is dedicated to helping people increase their mobility. The team received grants and raised money to build a modified car for 16-month-old Simon Matson, who has muscular dystrophy. The robotics team, made up of high schoolers ages 13 to 18, are passionate for the STEM field and wanted to see Simon get a chance to drive a car.
I helped with priming and gluing the PVC pipe together for the backing, and then also helped add clips to make the wires detach and attach easier for maintenance.
This was the Iowa City robotics team's first time participating in Go Baby Go, and they are looking to do more in the future. And there was a surprising update to the never-ending gambling issue surrounding the University of Iowa, as now it has been alleged that the investigations into sports betting at Iowa and Iowa State athletics were conducted illegally. Michael, we're going to bring you in for this one. What exactly does this mean?
Yeah, Johnny, this is some big stuff, as lawyers representing an Iowa State football player have alleged that the Iowa Department of Public Safety's Division of Criminal Investigations, well, they conducted their search into the illegal student-athlete gambling without having a warrant. A Monday court filing wrote that DCI monitored student gambling due to Special Agent Brian Zanger performing warrantless searches on UI and ISU campuses.
And Michael, how did this alleged illegal investigation play out?
Well, Johnny, lawyers said that Sanger used a data visualization software called Cabana to place a virtual enclosure and track the digital presence at a UI dorm without any evidence of underage gambling before this search. So basically that means they were tracking the online presence and what the student athletes were doing on campuses, which led them to finding the illegal gambling. Lawyers also wrote that Sanger requested permission to continue investigating, but he was denied by his superiors. Sanger then continued investigating anyway, targeting a UI athletic facility that had restricted access only to athletes, coaches, and staff members. But then Sanger got permission to continue the investigation and targeted other facilities and private citizens without any warrants. When asked, Sanger said he didn't know why he did a warrantless search, but that's how it has gone so far. Lawyers have requested the Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission to release emails and subpoenaed gambling accounts from the investigation, but nothing has come as of yet. There's going to be a ton of more information to come as this situation progresses.
And a big twist in an already just big situation here at Iowa. Thanks, Michael, and keep it rolling with sports.
Yeah, and while it doesn't feel too new to us, Beth Getz has officially taken the reins of Iowa athletics, and DITV's Colin Carithers was at her introductory press conference to hear what she had to say as new AD.
Yesterday, Beth Getz was introduced as the new Iowa Athletics AD following Gary Barta and officially removing her interim tag. This move makes her the only current standing female AD in the Big Ten, and she understands the impact of her role.
I understand the responsibility, of course, to have and be the individual that someone might look at and say, hey, I can take that same path one day.
Many female student athletes and coaches of multiple sports were in attendance in support of Beth Getz, and President Barbara Wilson spoke about the search for a new AD and her confidence in Beth Getz.
Many people ask me, why would you hold a national search when you have a crown jewel sitting right here? And my answer was, a search substantiates that she's the right person.
Getz emphasized her commitment to the success of Hawkeye sports in an increasingly changing landscape of collegiate athletics.
We will chase winning. We will be champions in competition and in preparing our young men and women for the next 40 years of their lives.
She also touched on some issues, including the lingering offensive coordinator search, which she feels is coming along well and all about communication. From the Feller Club room in Carver Hawkeye Arena, Colin Carithers, DITV Sports.
And a lot of big decisions to come for Beth in the future. But the Hawkeye men's basketball team hosts the Maryland Terrapins tonight at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Iowa suffered a loss to the second-ranked Purdue Boilermakers the last time they played at home. And it looks like for the second straight game, starting forward Patrick McCaffrey might not be able to play due to an ankle injury. In McCaffrey's place, Josh Dix has made the most of his new minutes, posting a career-high 21 points against Minnesota, and then another career-high 7 assists against Purdue. Dix will be in line to start against Maryland if McCaffrey is unable to play tonight. And the Hawkeye backcourt's gonna have the task of guarding Maryland's star, Jameer Young. Young leads the Terrapins in points and assists, scoring just over 20 points per game, adding about 4 rebounds and 4 assists as well.
There's not much he hasn't seen. He plays with a tremendous amount of confidence. Very skilled offensive player to make plays for his teammates or just go get buckets.
Maryland took down 10th-ranked Illinois in Champaign, so the Hawkeyes are going to have their hands full with a really athletic Maryland team. And the Hawkeyes' number 22 was feeling 22 when she celebrated her golden birthday on Monday. Naismith National Player of the Year Caitlin Clark got a surprise from Hy-Vee with a birthday cake, but it was Clark who dished out the presents by giving each of her teammates some Kyler Murray dunks. And Clark also got a shout-out from Jake from State Farm.
Today is a very special day. Today is Caitlin Clark's golden birthday. So to celebrate, we're making a $22,000 donation in your honor to your very own Caitlin Clark Foundation.
And great to hear about the donation to the Clark Foundation. But also on Monday, the Iowa gymnastics team took a close loss against Minnesota. This was the first Big Ten meet of the season. And although the Hawkeyes were defeated on the road, they took home 3 event titles and had 6 top 3 finishes. Sophomore Karina Munoz took the crown on the beam with a near perfect score of 9.9. Senior Adeline Kenlin also had a 9.9 on the uneven bars, her 6th 9.9 in her career. And the Hawkeyes will take on Southern Utah back in the Extreme Arena on Friday night.
And we will thank you for tuning in live to DITV News and listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
From the University of Iowa, I'm Michael Merrick.
And I'm Johnny Valtman. Have a wonderful Wednesday.